So when it gets to be your turn, then you'll just share your screen.
Yep.
So let me see here. So I think it might have kicked you out.
Yep. Well, I came out.
Recording in progress.
Mute all your stuff.
Muted. Nope.
No, in your far right.
1 second.
Yeah, that's not gonna get it. You gotta go mute your stuff on the far control panel. Minimize that and get in your computer. There you go. Just hit the button. There you go. And I shouldn't hear anything. Yep.
Sounds good. Testing.
So you're gonna be hearing the microphone here pick you up. So welcome. This is our third Tech Tuesday. I have Flexential here, Greg Valenstein, and I'm Joseph Longway, the president of Longway Broadband Services. So what we're going to do today is talk about the technology that we do here in the chamber and some opportunities that you have to further your company's ability to serve your customers. So today here our agenda is, well, what is Tech Tuesday? We're talking about that. Some future sponsors we've got coming up. We're going to talk about what Longway Broadband is, and then we're doing an overview of Flexential. So these are the upcoming meetings. Flexential Spectrum's next week. The 28th we'll have somebody else. And then these are the ones that we'll have, and then after the end of June, we'll evaluate and say, hey, do we want to keep this going? Do we have a nice crowd? Do we have people that are interested in wanting to attend? And if so, then we'll keep it going, and we'll do it that way. So Longway Broadband, this is a technology type of focus. So I've got here just a snippet of where we're at on social media and how you find us on the internet. So different facets and whatnot. So it's just kind of, here it is and how we do it. And so who and why Longway Broadband? So what are we? We're a technology strategist and a generalist. So we help procure many different types of IT and telecom products, and we can do it literally from anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where you are, who you are, and where you sit. We can help you get that. So what we do is we interview the buyer, essentially the client, and we figure out what their needs are, and then we have a list of providers, and we go to that provider and we say these providers, and we say, hey, here's our client, this is what they need, and then we connect those types of buyers. And that would be on the telecom side. On the IT hardware side, we're able to get that and sell that to you directly, and then we also provide consulting services as well, and that's done on a one-on-one basis. But so what we talk about is the expertise in technology, market trends, and then we tailor your solutions for different needs. So we not just address your current need, but then the future needs as well. Whether you're looking at a managed service provider and maybe you need a cybersecurity option, or maybe you need a data center provider and a managed service, we prepare all that stuff for you, and we do all of this telecom stuff at no cost to you. The providers, they pay us. So here's some of my largest clients. We have clients all over the country. So we have large contracts with these folks, phone, internet, all different types of stuff. So we have access to real-time maps. So the providers, if they're a fiber provider, this is just fiber. we can tell you who the last mile provider is. This is in Knoxville, Tennessee. So this is a major thoroughway in Knoxville, Tennessee. And so you can kind of pinpoint where your stuff is. And then each one of those black dots there, I can literally click on that and I can say who is the provider at that location. So in this room, there's a couple providers, and it could be, I could click on that. It might say Telesystems, it might say Flexential, it might even say Metronet. If I click on one of those dots in the cities that they're in. So some of these people I mentioned, you know, they're, well, quote unquote national providers. Some are micro and national providers. So it depends upon what area you're in, especially with fiber. So here's a little snippet of our products and services. You know, like I said, the left side is more consulting. And then you have the top, which is brokering of new products, or wholesaler of all these different products you can buy for your office. And we do a lot of business with schools, hotels, cities, states, universities. That's who our hardware customers are. And then on the right side is the telecom stuff. And this is the part that where Flexential comes in. Colocation is a big one. And so we provide companies access to the ability to find colocation for their businesses, because a lot of the times colocation, you need what they call a disaster plan. So you need to be 4 hours away from where you're headquartered, where all your stuff sits. So you basically draw a circle around the city of Knoxville, let's say, and then Charlotte would be 4 hours away. So then, two of Flexcentral's data centers would be a good option for somebody in Knoxville to fulfill their disaster recovery plan, right? And then it could go the other way too. It could be all the way into Nashville as well. So, you know, it just, and then these companies within, let's say Knoxville, they don't know about what's in Charlotte or what's in Nashville. They really only know what's in their market not in the Knoxville area. So we help and do all that stuff. So, so here's our product line. So internet service, we spoke about, phone service, VIOP, cable TV. We have all of all those access to every provider everywhere, just about. Point of sale, here's some of the hardware stuff, point of sale, digital signage, security systems. And then it gets into this other stuff, cybersecurity, cloud, IoT, data center, contact center, mobility. As you can see, it's basically everything and anything in telecom and IT. We're doing everything and everywhere. So it doesn't really matter where you sit or who you are. What industry you're in, we can help you and provide a service for what you need. So I played football, so I like to always talk about football. And there's my little girl there, and she's got her football helmet on. So with Longway Broadband, we all win right there. So now I will turn it over to the distinguished and exclusive speaker.
Yeah, hey, great. Thank
Greg.
you, Joseph, I really appreciate
All right,
that. Let me
share.
set this up.
I'll stop sharing
Okay.
and you go for it. The green button. I put it in a slideshow.
Yep. I'm in technology. We get this, every once in a while. We can get it to work, and it looks like we're on a good path to moving forward. So,
Yeah.
Joseph, I just want to say thank you first of all
Yeah.
for thinking about this. And one of the things, like, nothing ever happens unless somebody executes on it. So you've done a great job on executing and getting people here. I think the rains kept people from coming here. It is coming down cats and dogs, but that's one of the reasons why Flexential is here, because we actually provide the infrastructure. So you guys don't have to worry about like technology services and where to find things or where your people are at and relying it. It just works. And that's kind of the essence of this presentation today. So my name is Greg Valenstein. I've been with Flexential since last October, but I'm not new to technology. I've been selling technology services for over 30 years. I can't believe that I've been doing it that long, but I have, and I've seen a lot of changes. Really started more in the database side, applications, where to find your data, allocating data to solve for various reporting and analytic needs. And I spent a lot of time in that. I spent some time in the security side, encryption, moving into more of the distributed database side and infrastructure business with some of the companies I've been with. And now I find myself at Flexential. One of the reasons why is that I don't have to travel as much because we have a great market that's more local. And I just don't like getting on a plane that much. My last experience last week, 24 hours to get from Dallas to Charlotte. It's hard, right? So, we can do a lot online, and that's some of the reasons why you think about Flexential. My experience at the airport was kind of like somebody who was in one of these pictures. All these pictures depict people having issues with either their business processes or their technology, right? Something's down. If you've ever stood online for whatever reason, it's probably because they've just not have thought about, what has happened. Something's brought them down. Maybe the POS system's down. Maybe it's they can't handle the amount of transactions. Maybe they don't have a big enough broadband pipe. Whatever the reason is, a lot of organizations are as strong as their weakest link, right? The representation of the broken chain. And that really can be a lot of things, even ransomware. Joseph mentioned something, disaster recovery. If you don't have a disaster recovery system in place, you're liable to be down for an extended period of time, or going out to, your local Bitcoin provider, if anybody can ever find one or knows what it is, to actually pay someone off so you can get your data back. We want to prevent anything like that. So we provide you the platforms and the systems to make sure your business is going to run 100% of the time, guaranteed. So areas Flexential can help. I just mentioned 100% network availability, 5 nines on our cloud services, 30-minute backup restores. You can be in Knoxville, you can be in Nashville, you can be anywhere in North America, and we'll get you up and running through our fleet of data centers. Flexential provides an extension of your organization's IT requirements through colocation, cloud, internet connectivity, data protection services, and we also have the people who have the knowledge and experience to make sure we can get you up and running and into a data center, and everything is just runs smoothly. That's what we do. Give you a little bit more view of kind of our footprint. We now actually think we have 42 data centers serving 19 markets around the United States and access to the world. We've got undersea cables running to Europe and South America, as well as Asia Pac. We're currently operating over 3 million square feet of data center space, supporting well over 235 megawatts of UPS capacity. That's all redundant. We've got 100 gigabit network backbone. You can actually scale that out to 400 gigabits if you need super big pipes. We've got over 300 on-net carriers, depending on which data center you're in, but we can get your information out to the world, and we can get your customers into our data centers. We guarantee 100% uptime. That's what we do, and we do that through redundancy. And I wanted to give you an example of how we do that, but and that comes through colocation services. The big ticket here to take away is that I'm kind of like a leasing agent of like building space. But our buildings also provide power and cooling, just like this building does. But we're going to do it to solve and to meet your IT requirements. As you can imagine, we're talking and supporting all kinds of organizations, from small to the largest hyperscalers out there. They're taking data center space from us. We see like these high density projects for like AI. Anybody playing with ChatGPT today? Well, there's like, I was watching CNBC this morning, and there's 50 new companies, disruptors, and they are buying and using, crazy amounts of electricity and cooling to support the inference models and like creating pictures of of whatever you can imagine. It's kind of cool. And, hopefully it's going to make this world a better place sooner or later. Give you an example of what we have here in Charlotte. We've got 2 data centers here in Charlotte. This is the picture of the Charlotte North data center. It's near University Park, right off of 85. If anybody knows that area, you got some large organizations sitting there. It's an impressive facility. If anybody ever wants a tour through any of these data centers, it's really pretty cool. I kind of, every time I walk in there, I think of the Matrix. If you ever see the Matrix, you've been in this big white hall and all of a sudden it pops up these cabinets going down the line as far as you can see, and the power's buzzing, and it's impressive. But it's got redundancy at every level. It's got redundancy in UPS power. It's got redundancy in broadband and cooling, and again, that's how we get to that 100% power. They're compliant in nature, right? So a lot of our customers, I mean, no matter what business you're in, if you're taking payments, you have to meet payment card industry. I mean, it's table stakes. But we also have a lot of banks and healthcare organizations that have much more stringent requirements. So we meet those compliance requirements in addition to SOC 2, SOC 3, as well as just about every industry there. We've got the connectivity. We've got people staffing this 24/7. So that's the Charlotte North data center, and the Charlotte South data center is actually on the south side of Charlotte, near the Carowinds area or the Arsley Business Park area. That's actually been there a really long time. That data center has been around for almost 20 years. Of course, it's not 20-year equipment that's still in there. We continually refresh to make sure we can meet the demands of our customers in the area. I just thought I'd kind of throw up some trends that are happening, because this is one of the struggles out there. I should show you 2 sites in Charlotte. So we have Charlotte North, Charlotte South. Demand for data center is growing exponentially. And, it was, during our recent pandemic, and, right after year 2000, you see this spike in growth or spike in demand. That first bullet up there, the average monthly asking rate for power, that's a pretty big power requirement, 250 to 500 kilowatts of power. But really, I mean, it affects everybody, because even if you need 5 kilowatts to support one cabinet, the cost is just gone up. It's up 18.6% year over year from last year. I mean, it's inflation, and it's hitting people hard. And some of the other bullet points are really interesting as well, because not only is pricing going up, and it's probably one of the reasons why price is going up, but there's not a lot of power to be had out there. I think somewhere in the bullets here is that vacancy rate for power today is at a low of 3.7%. I mean, it's demanding. And so what are you going to do? Are you going to build it yourself, which may cost more money, or you have to try and find the people and support? Or are you going to say, hey, you know what, let me chalk this up. Let me find somebody who knows what they're doing. I can't even find the people to run this stuff, or I can't even find the supply chain to build this stuff anymore. It's really hard. So, it's not an easy business to be in, but we are here. We're committed to work for a great company, from, the salespeople through our executives. Everybody's really focused on making Flexential the best possible company we can possibly be. This is just an example of the wholesale market. I thought it was kind of interesting. Charlotte, the Charlotte, Raleigh, or North Carolina regions where there's data centers, our power rates or our leasing rates are actually some of the lowest in the country. Compared to trying to find power in some of the larger cities. One of those bullet points before, the DC, Virginia area, their prices have gone up 42% year over year. We live in a great area of the country. I just love, I think Charlotte's got so much to offer. And you know what? It does make it a little easier to run data centers here in Charlotte than some of the big metros around the world. Why are people coming to us? Application performance. right? If their company, if their applications and what they do every day are not working, they're struggling with performance, they're going to have to figure out something to do, or else they're not going to be in business for very long. And that's where they tend to come to us. We size accordingly. We make sure those applications are going to run and they're going to run. Cost optimization. You got to rationalize cost. Do you want a fixed cost, or you want a cost that's, like you're not sure how much it's going to be next year? I mean, these are some of the things that we can provide to an organization. And we can also provide the ability to scale up and scale down, right? Like, hey, business is coming in. I need, 5 more servers, or I need more, bandwidth. That's a flip of a switch. And it's controlled by our customers. We actually give our customers the control and flexibility to do this themselves. Joseph, disaster recovery is a really huge topic. The bad guys are getting horrible. They're evil, and they're holding people hostage. And so we have tools and services. You can run your disaster recovery on-prem if you have the tools and experience to do it. It's a lot. But you can also come to someone like Flexential, where we can provide you with the data center space, or we can even run it for you as a service. Physical security. We want to make sure your equipment, your data, everything about your business is secure, logically as well as physically. And again, I think I mentioned this before, we staff these data centers 24/7. Just a quick, our solution, if you just take away 3 things for colocation, that's making sure your applications are running 100% as needed. We're providing you that network reliability as well. Your customers are going to get access to your data or your applications, and we reduce any single point of failure. We've got dual power, we've got dual, just everything that the data center really needs to run. Bank that is using just that. They wanted to get out of the data center business themselves. They were running 2 data centers on-prem in different facilities. And what they found was that their technical guys were running technology and not being a bank, right? They're good at being a bank. That's what they do. That's what they want to do day in, day out. They didn't want to deal with the supply chain issues of IT, of help desk, of just trying to run business through the IT people. And they came to Flexential, and we provide them their colocation connectivity, as well as disaster recovery and security solutions for them. And this is a real great example of we've got a few thousand customers at this time to do that. And I'll back up a little, because I didn't tell you where Flexential even came from. The name Flex and Essential Services, and they came up with the idea of Flexential Services. And that kind of works, so it's good. But most people have heard of Peak 10 in this area. So Peak 10 was a data server provider early on in the early 2000s. And we merged with Via West in 2019. We're co-located. We've got one facility. We're co-located in Charlotte, North Carolina. Our corporate offices are off of Arrowwood Road in 77. We have great offices as well. So one of the things that we also do for our customers is that we could host events there. We can do training. We can do, if my customers need a place to meet, we have those facilities here in Charlotte. It really goes a long way for people. Interconnection services. So we have a number of interconnection services. They're all kind of wrapped around together based on, what type of organization that you are and you're looking for Flexential. We offer these flexible options, starting with a network hub, where you can kind of, sign up with us, and you'll get a cabinet that's regionally located. Joseph, you were talking about, Knoxville, and you want to be 4 hours away. And what if your business has, let's say, a dozen stores in the area, maybe 1,000 stores in the region or something like that? You want to hub it like Network Hub, where everything comes into one location. And so you're just not you don't have, you're not managing things every which way. And it doesn't stop there, because once you're running your business in, let's say, one of our network hubs, we also offer something we refer to as Cloud Fabric. And what we've done is built this fabric across all of our data centers to access all solutions. What most organizations want access to is like the hyperscalers. How many organizations are using Office 365 today, right? And so if you're using Flexential services, you don't really need to run your own interconnect to a Microsoft facility, whereas we've taken care of that for you. We've got a big pipe that is dedicated straight to the Azure data center. We do it as well for AWS, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud, SAP, and a number of others. We're in this kind of multi-cloud world today. Most organizations, they don't even realize they're like, oh yeah, we do everything on-prem. No, you're probably multi-cloud already. Who's got a CRM platform like Salesforce? Who's got an HRMS system like Workday? Who's got, an ERP system like Oracle or SAP? They're already multi-cloud, right? And, tag on, yeah, my CEO said, hey, cloud everything 10 years ago. They've got applications running in AWS. And so what we're trying to do is trying to simplify this world for them. Instead of kind of a spaghetti network of pipes and services, we're trying to extend our customers' footprint by, instead of keeping everything on-prem where it's busting out of the seams or out of a closet, a reconverted closet that, maybe running hot in the summers. Hey, you know what? Come to Flexential. We're an extension. You manage it, you control it. We just give you the operating, environment to perform and be successful. We also offer some data center interconnects. We have a lot of organizations that they just want a big pipe for replication services. They're running, let's say they're based in Charlotte, but they have they've got their West Coast operations in Phoenix. And they want to share, information back and forth. So that, can do something like that. Flexential Fabric is an extension of our Cloud Fabric, but this gives our customers a portal into being able to, or a dashboard into everything about their environment that they control. And they want to spin up more bandwidth, they can spin up more bandwidth. They want to spin up more servers or control or spin down, they can do it. We're a cloud provider, right? This is kind of the idea of this ephemeral cloud. I can spin up and spin down as I need it, but we're gonna keep that billing real consistent so you can guarantee your budget month in, month out.
So to stop you there, Greg, so I have sold several connections between data center cities and such. One was in Dallas going to Philadelphia, one was in Philadelphia going to Florida, and it was just a straight point-to-point connecting data centers, and they had to do it for their disaster recovery, which we spoke about before. So part of the disaster recovery plans, I don't know if y'all have ever took part in any of those, but each large corporation is required to have a disaster recovery plan. And in part of that, they need to be able to say, in case a tornado hits our town, tornado's not going to hit 4, 6, or 10 hours away from another place. So they'll co-locate in another facility, and they'll have their accounting, all of their vital information just stored and backed up in a Florida or a Philadelphia or a Dallas or a Charlotte. So that's kind of how all that stuff works. They use the interconnects, and then they use the middle model providers, the different various fiber carriers around the country to connect those. So you do a long haul point to point to connect those.
Yep, and we've got the connections they're there and waiting, right? You just need to flip the switch and connect the dots, and you're up and running. You don't have to worry about routers and firewalls and anything. We've got it all built in. Another organization similar to the bank, Colocation Connectivity Services. This is a print organization. They were really reliant on making sure their print was available for the next day print. If they're not printing and they're not getting their information out. This is a Media News Group relies on Flexential services to do just that. Cloud services. Everybody's listening to the cloud. I know I talked a little bit about it, but why Flexential, right? You've had 10 years ago, 15 years ago, everybody was talking to the cloud, everybody moved to the cloud, and a lot of people did move to the cloud. But not everything is meant to run in a hyperscale cloud, right? All your workloads, your legacy workloads that really need to be on physical servers tend to run better on bare metal servers. A lot of organizations still run that themselves. With Flexential, we give you the ability to not worry about the infrastructure. Say, hey, use our cloud services. We'll provide you with all the equipment and everything. It's kind of a step up from power, space, cool. Now it's power, space, cool infrastructure that will provide ready to go. And all you need to do is migrate that application to our data center and our professional services team. That's what they do all day. They know how to do it. You'll find with a lot of the hyperscalers, you'll have to go to a professional services team that they're all over the board and they work with everybody. They don't understand the nuances of Flexential, and that's what makes our professional services team dedicated for what we do. So we can get you up and running really fast. Challenges with those environments, those hyperscalers are, it's a high, it costs a lot. There's a lot of things that you're not accounting for that you have to get into the professional services to get them in there, as well as if you ever have your data and you want to move it out, there are like large egress charges that you just don't account for there. There's limited scalability and flexibility. It's time consuming to maintain and support. There's limited disaster recovery services, backup services, security and compliance. One of the biggest challenges that we see with big hyperscalers like Azure and AWS is the complex billing. I think the CFO is getting, monthly bills that you really have to, work through and say, how am I getting charged for this? My data is there. Oh, wait, my data is being stored for, forever there. You're never getting away from the challenges there. Whereas where the colo, our cloud services, again, are an extension of their business, offering a lot of the same services, a lot of the same performance, but you have control and you can manage all your data that you need. So we offer that in a few different flavors. We offer it in multi-tenant cloud for, let's say, your lower level applications that you're not really worried about security and things like that. You can share space and share costs with other tenants, almost like a hotel or a motel, right? It's one building that has lots of people. But a hosted private cloud, if you're really concerned, like you have to meet compliance requirements, whether you're a bank or a healthcare organization, you're probably looking at a hosted private cloud where it's only your data. And then hosted private cloud with advanced access, we actually give you the controls through a VMware access. So this is a huge thing in this industry right now. VMware, Broadcom, and VMware have completely disrupted the industry, and everything's just stopped. It was like a record player go, like a lot of projects that were planned. A lot of organizations are using VMware today. It was up until just recently, they had 4,400 partners that were able to resell the VMware product. They stopped it all. And Flexential has aligned. We're one of 12 pinnacle partners in the industry. So what does that really mean? Is actually we get preferred pricing that we're able to pass down to try and keep, lower costs there. But people are really struggling with their VMware environments. They went from, hey, we're not doing perpetual license anymore. People are holding on to those licenses for way too long. And they went to a software as a service model. And that really bodes well into our cloud services, because that's exactly what we do. So if they're using any of these multi-tenant hosted cloud or private cloud, we're using the VMware product to help them do that.
And that was one of those partners. They got eliminated. So what it was is VMware just, they gave us a warning. They said, hey, you're not going to be able to keep your clients. You're not going to be able to re-sign them. They're going to become our clients. They're going to become our customers. They all got moved over to companies like Flexential, and that's just the way it is. I mean, they done away with the individual partner programs and went with the master programs such as this, and that saves them a lot of time and money because they don't have to have 50 channel managers running around. They have one or two that are designated to these folks as account managers. And so do I agree with that? The way they do Broadcom does business? Not really, but it's the way that is now. So it's to reduce staff.
There's not a lot of options.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a few competing products in the market here, but if you're already using VMware and you're like, well, I don't like the program anymore. Well, the options are to migrate to something else, and that's just not easy, right? You have everybody already trained in this one product and service, and moving over to somebody else, it's not necessarily better.
Yeah.
Different, but not necessarily better.
Yeah, like VMware is VeloCloud in SD-WAN world. That's something we sell a lot of. But we could also sell just the SD-WAN boxes, the Miriakis, the Barracudas, all these different brands, HP, different things. But now we can't even touch the VMware box. We have to go through a preferred vendor that's specializing in Broadcom products, and it makes it a little bit more difficult on little guys like me. But great for big companies like that, so they can aggregate the customers and be more specialists because that's where they want the specialized services, people that actually know more and do it every day, and that's where they're going with a lot of this stuff.
Louisiana Pacific Corporation, another organization, builder. They're again didn't want to be in the IT business, and they looked for a solution provider to provide them with products and services. Their data center was old, and they were in the process of, do we rebuild? Do we refresh everything? That was gonna cost them millions of dollars to completely refresh. And they looked at all their applications, they looked at their compliance laws, and they allocated certain applications to the multi-tenant cloud and certain applications to the hosted private cloud with advanced access that still gives them control over the things that they wanted to do. They added disaster recovery as a service, and we were able to migrate them. They have 2,300 users on the system, and super happy using the service today. So we got them out of the data center business and got them back into building homes. And I think we need more of that these days, right? We need more companies building homes, right? It's not enough homes out there for people. Data protection services. From Gartner, 70% of organizations are poorly positioned to recover their information. A lot of organizations are siloed. Everybody works in their own lane. So disaster recovery, IT, cybersecurity, you've got multiple people where, a lot of times it really should be one group. We've got the expertise because we're doing this every day to do it well. But, when recovering from a ransomware attack, it is like everybody on board to get this. We now, if you do it through Flexential, we've got it automated. Like you push a button and you're going to recover within the SLAs that we're guaranteeing. So you could be up and running, you can have all your data back within minutes to hours. 85% of organizations expect to increase their data protection budget. I think that number is a little low right now, 8.3%, but from last year, 2022, I wouldn't be surprised if that's closer to 15%. Just technology is becoming, it's expensive to run your business today. I'm not going to say it's less expensive to go with Flexential, but you know what you're going to get. You're going to get that guarantee, and your business is going to operate, right? So either you're going to fail and you're going to upset people, you're going to have network failures, or you're going to spend the money and you're just not going to worry about it. And that's what we bring to the table. So the data protection services that we offer, all backed by a professional services team that helps migrate any one of these services. So disaster recovery is a service, backup as a service. If you need, all your data, all your transactions backed up. And that could be for a lot of different reasons. You can actually use that for historical reporting and analytics or training models. Archive storage kind of falls into that same bucket, whether it's object storage or file storage. And also we provide a full suite of managed security solutions to protect against like endpoint detection and threats that you might not be aware of. We're 24/7 on this. We're constantly monitoring, so we'll know it before you get hit if something's out there. Professional services that just follows all of our products and solutions around. But why is that they've got the experience and expertise. They've been at this for, these guys. I mean, this is what they live and breathe, and they understand the Flexential network. They're certified. We also have people that are dedicated to their what they know. We might have disaster recovery expert. We've got cybersecurity experts, backup, etc. And I think this is the last healthcare, just an example of a healthcare provider that has to meet the compliance requirements of their industry. They chose us because it's a hybrid environment that they were able to control with 100% uptime. And the workloads that we provide in our cloud are providing 5 nines of availability. I mean, we're just not down. And if we ever are, like, we owe them back. I mean, in either form of credits or, God forbid, there's a breach of contract. And I haven't seen that. Not everything's perfect. Not everybody's perfect. There's always things that you can't account for. But we're a big organization that really, we've got your back, and we've got a customer support. I didn't even talk about this, but we've got a customer support success team that when I sell a new customer or bring on somebody new to the platform, they get a customer success manager. Right? They want to make sure that their business is going to run smoothly and effectively, and IT is not going to be a problem for them. So if I were to just leave you with kind of one slide for everything, this is kind of a Flexential service overview where we provide cloud and colocation services. That's our core infrastructure. That's what's going on in these buildings, these 42 data centers around the country. And within those data centers, we provide data protection, managed services, security compliance, and the interconnect to make sure that you're going to meet the needs of your organization. And with that, Joe.
All right, so thank you, Greg. That's a great presentation.
Thank you.
To sum everything up, Flexential is a great partner to have. They're great for the community within Lake Norman. They provide a great service. It also is a national service. So those that are larger companies in the area, they utilize Flexential regularly. And if you're interested in obtaining these services, you just got to mention TechTuesday, of course. And with Greg and I, and he's got his contact information. I've got my contact information available, and just get a hold of us. Again, this is a regular Tuesday event, so hope to see y'all next Tuesday. Spectrum will be our next presenter, and thank you for joining. And if there's any questions, fire them at us here. We got a giveaway, I think.
We do have a giveaway. Let's see if I can come up with a question, an easy one. Let's try. How many data centers did I say that we have? Oh, 42.
We got a winner,
We got a
Tim.
winner.
Tim Greer
We're
with
giving away let's see,
CET.
Flexential Tune 25 JBL. It's actually pretty good. So if you want to pass that down.
We'll give that to him.
And then also there's some swag there. I got some hats and I got some tumblers there. So please help yourself to that as well as a couple of handouts.
All right, thank you.
And with that, Joseph, thanks again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Greg. Good day.